Hey guys, let's talk about books. It is pretty much the middle of the year, and so it is time for the mid-year book freakout tag, although again, I don't want to call it freakout, I want to call it check-in, because why are we freaking out about reading? It's just books, it's not that serious. I did this not last year but the year before, I will link that, and basically it's just a series of questions to check in on reading and an excuse to talk about books, which is why we are here. So let's get on with the question. Question 1 is the best book you've read so far in 2024. The best book I have read so far, I don't have with me because I loaned it to one of my kids' friends, and then there was drama in the friend group, and I don't think I'll ever see it again. That's okay, I'll just buy another copy. I don't lend books if they're so precious to me, I couldn't lose them. And that is Shirley Jackson's We've Always Lived in the Castle. Now, I'm going to put up whichever side, that side I think, the picture of the copy that I'm going to buy, and might just buy anyway, even if the drama resolves itself and my book comes home, because I love it. And if you've read the book, you'll understand the symbolism of the cover here, and it's gorgeous, and it releases in Australia in September or October. I could get it on Blackwell's now, but I'm happy to wait. It's not urgent, but it is something that I'd like to keep on my shelves in this cover. I love it. I will link my review. But this is a book that blew me away and has really bumped Shirley Jackson up on the list of other things in her back catalogue that I need to read. Oh, the sun's come out, which is lovely. I'm not going to lie, but the colours in the video are going to change dramatically. Now, my runner-up here, because it was so hard to choose, is over here. Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, which I did just review, and I'll link to that as well. If you're into science fiction and doing something different and you haven't read this, because this is a decade old at this point, I highly recommend. It was worth the awards, which you can't always say for books. The next question is the best sequel that you've read in 2024 so far. The best one, oh, I can't reach it. The best one was Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. This is number 3, I think, in the Murderbot Diaries. Let me check. Yes. I love Murderbot, and I think you should love Murderbot too if you don't already, and I would definitely be reading more of this. But I read so many sequels so far this year, so I'm just going to list them for you. I've also read A Prayer for the Crown Shire by Becky Chambers, Demon Daughter by Lois, McMaster, Bujold. That's in her Penric and Desdemona series. House of Open Wounds by Adrian Tchaikovsky. There's a third one of those coming later this year. The Tower of the Swallow, which is book 5 of The Witcher. I've still got a couple of Witcher books to go. St. Peter's Fair, which is in the Brother Cadfael series, and Barrier by Lois McMaster Bujold as well. That's in her Volkosigan saga. I'll link my reviews to all of those below. Question 3 is new release that you haven't read yet but want to. Now, there's heaps on this list too, but there's one that I have in my pile of books that I'm going to show you in my July haul, and that is, I saw this in the bookshop and I couldn't get it out of my head and I had to buy it. And it is Heresy, Jesus Christ and Other Sons of God by Catherine Nixie. I love me some religious, Christian in particular, history, and I mean, it's gorgeous. The cover did catch my eye, I'm not going to lie, but the topic does interest me. You will learn more about that in my July haul, but that's definitely high on my TBR. Runners up in this category, books that I don't own yet, is Service Model by Adrian Tchaikovsky. That man is a machine. He's got at least 2 more books coming out this year that I know of. But Service Model is a science fiction in the vein, I think, of Murderbot. Why don't we just look up a blurb? That would be way easier. Let's do my personalized preview on Storygraph, because I pay for Storygraph. Based on your reading preferences, it appears you've enjoyed books with artificial intelligence, robots, and a mixture of humour and adventure. However, Service Model seems to lean more towards the humorous side, which may not align with your preferences, as you've indicated you're not interested in books with a funny mood. I don't like whimsy, so I said I don't want humour. They're 2 different things. Oh, it literally says Murderbot meets Red Shirts in a delightfully humorous tale of robotic murder. From Hugo-nominated author of Elder Race and Children of Time, 2 books I loved. So that's high on the list, but it's not imminent on my list. The next one here is The Notebook, A History of Thinking on Paper. I'm waiting for this to come out in paperback in Australia. Description says, the first history of the notebook, a simple invention that changed the way the world thinks. We see notebooks everywhere we go, but where did it come from? How did they revolutionize our lives? And why are they such powerful tools for creativity? Looking forward to that. If it comes cheap on Kindle, I'll get it on Kindle, but otherwise I'm waiting for the paperback in Australia. Again, I could get it on Blackwell's now, but I'm going to wait. And then finally, one that, again, I'm waiting to come in paperback. But Katie Lumsden of Books and Things said that she recently listened to this one, and that was good because there were some sciencey bits that just wafted over her and you don't have to like pass the sentences as you're physically reading. And that is The Language Puzzle, How We Talked Our Way Out of the Stone Age by Stephen Mithen. The blurb says, the language puzzle explains how the invention of words at 1.6 million years ago began the evolution of human language. And so it goes. So I'm looking forward to that one too. That one might be an audio. We'll see when I get room in my audio schedule. All right, these are, of course, books that I don't own yet. Question 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I am so excited for all these books. I cannot even tell you. First, we have The Impusium by Olga Tokarczuk. That was, actually, I haven't pre-ordered it because it comes out in Australia when I'm on holiday in a town that has bookshops and I want to physically buy it in a bookshop. Can't imagine anything better getting a book on release in a real bookshop, which just, I guess it tells you a lot about the narrowness of my country town life. So I'm going to try and pick that up in a real bookshop. Otherwise, it'll be coming home with me in some form ASAP. I'm so excited for that one. We have Brandon Sanderson, book 5 of the Stormlight Archive, comes out in December. That's called Wind and Truth, and I'm over Brandon Sanderson at the moment, but hopefully by December I will have the Stormlight Archive hype back, and I will read that as soon as it comes out. James S.A. Corey, who wrote the Expanse series, is launching a new series. Starts with The Mercy of Gods. I don't know anything about this book except it's science fiction, and it's the beginning of a series, and I have insta pre-ordered that stuff because I love James S.A. Corey. Oh, that comes out in August. Oh, that's really close. And then Lois McMaster Bujold has another in her Penric and Desdemona series coming out, she reckons, mid-July, early July. I just drop everything and read them when they drop. She only releases them in e-form. And then there are some bind-ups of Penric and Desdemona, but not many, and they're only hardcover and they're expensive. So they do not live in my collection yet. So that's got me covered with new things for the rest of the year. Like, theoretically, I don't need to buy anything else this year. Of course I will. Question 5, biggest disappointment. Biggest disappointment was The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor. And I think this is just because it was hyped by so many places that I learn about books from the internet, including a book club Discord that I'm in. They were really hyped for it. It wasn't what I want in a sci-fi. It was not the First Contact novel that I wanted. It didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. It was, here's First Contact, and it didn't go forward into the new culture. It went, here's First Contact, here's how we fucked it up, and do we deserve to have contact with this civilization? So I didn't enjoy it. Again, I will link my review, but other people loved it. So, you know, that's just me. Biggest surprise. Again, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is a book I picked up because it was a signed reading for a uni course, and I just fell in love straight away. It was a book that I couldn't read in one sitting because it just gripped me so tightly. I needed a break. I needed to walk away, take a deep breath, think about how much of a douche canoe Charles is, and it was really, really affected me in the way that I am not often affected by books. I loved it. Love, love, love. Question 7, new favourite author, debut or new to me. Now, this is not a debut author, but this is her first work of fiction, and that is, oh, can I reach it? No, I'm wedged in. The Extinction of Irina Ray. The author is Jennifer Croft. She is a translator as well. This is her first fiction, and I'm still thinking about this. I read it the second that it came into my life, and I'm definitely still thinking about it months later. Probably will reread it next year. It had that sort of impact on me where I enjoyed the story, but there's more depth to it than I got on the first read, and I know it's going to need more reading. And I love that. It's so nice when a book can give you something every time you read it. So the next thing Jennifer Croft comes out with, I would definitely be buying. Book that made you cry. I knew it would make me cry because it's a reread, and that is The Lions of Al-Rassan by Gabriel Kay. This is a romance set in medieval Spain, and it's just gorgeous. I love it so much. I love these people, and it's so sad, always so sad at the end when there is a confrontation between two of the main characters and one of them doesn't survive. It's so sad. Every time. A book that made me happy. Where is it? It must be over there. This is going to sound a little weird as a book that made me happy, but it is A Little History of Literature by John Sutherland. This made me happy because it reminded me that books are worth reading, why books are worth reading, that you're not going to get to everything in your lifetime, and that is okay. There's a part in here that I underlined that really spoke to me. It says, rereading is one of the great pleasures that literature offers us. The great works of literature are inexhaustible. That is one of the things that makes them great. However often you go back to them, they will always have something new to offer. Even though it is a quick tour through European and Western literature, every time I read it, I had fun, I learned something. It made me excited for reading and reading more than just new release science fiction and fantasy. And that's awesome. That is awesome. Question 10 is the most beautiful book that you've bought or received this year. Now, my entire July haul is beautiful books, so I've just picked one, and that is The Lost Soul by Olga Tokarczuk, which is a picture book, really. It just has the most gorgeous illustrations. Illustrations are by Joanna Consejo. This one's translated by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. It's just so beautiful. And even though it's not going to have, I haven't read it. It will take me 5 minutes, but I've been saving it. It's gorgeous. And I wanted it. So I bought it because I'm a grown-up. But the other books that I bought to show you in my June haul are books that I have already read that are beautiful, and I just bought beautiful versions of them. No spoilers. Oh, and also this bright, happy coloured version of Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. I love that the brightness and the happiness of the yellow contrasts with waking up as a cockroach and still trying to live your normal life even though you're now a bug. It's a delicious irony. Finally, books I need to read by the end of the year. Now, I don't need to do anything, but these are books that I want to have read by Christmas. I want to have reread the Stormlight Archive. That's not going to happen. In fact, I need to hunt down a YouTube video where someone gives me the TLDR of what has happened up to the start of Wind and Truth, because they are long books. They're 1,000 pages each, and I've got other things to be doing than rereading the Stormlight Archive. But I will read Wind and Truth by Christmas. When does it come out? The 6th of December. That gives me 3 weeks, 20 days. That's 3 weeks. I can do that. I want to have read by September The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann, because The Impusium by Olga Tokarczuk, which comes out in the end of September, is based on a retelling of The Magic Mountain. So I want to have done that homework before The Impusium comes out, which is next on my list. The Impusium I will have read by Christmas. Jane Eyre, because Kelly at Curatorially Yours bought it and I wanted to read it as soon as I saw that she had bought it. So I bought it. So now I have to read it. Maybe we'll buddy read it over winter, Kelly. Get it done. And I saw it actually on the Audrey app as well. So maybe I'll listen to it over there. We'll see. I want to have read The Lady of the Lake by Andrzej Sapkowski. That's the next book in the Witcher series. I want to keep going with The Witcher, especially before the new TV show season comes out. Although, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I don't know if I'm that interested if Henry Cavill's not in it. we'll see. And finally, Penric and the Bandit, the new Penric and Desdemona, which is coming out in a matter of weeks at this point. I will have read that. I'll probably have read that by the next time I film a video. And there we have it, my mid-year check-in. I'm excited for reading. I'm excited by what I have read. I'm just excited by books in general, as I think we all are. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in my next video, which will be my June haul, which I may as well just film now. Bye. My physio told me today that I have to start doing lifting, gentle lifting, with my dodgy wrist. And I tell you what, these books, oh, they ain't gentle lifting. Me and my precious books.